Hey whales, good morning. Happy Monday. It's July the 28th. Let's recap the markets and go over the top stocks to buy for today. Now, before we jump right in, as always, let's review the trade so far this year. And you can see we're doing really well, guys. Up 92K USD in profit, 61% win rate across the board. Super proud of myself so far. As you guys know, we started with a 100K account balance at the beginning of this year. So, very, very fantastic return so far. We did take trades across companies like Delta Airlines, Google, Ford last week. And you can see for the month of July, right, very, very solid month overall. And we're up about 11.1K USD with 1 week left to go. You can see back in June, we ended up with 11.5K. And back in May, 11.9K. So doing really, really well. And yeah, let's see if we can keep this momentum, for the last 4 days here. Now, again, all the trades that you see here, they're all posted in Discord, guys, right? So you get the exact day trade ideas every single morning, as well as the swing trade ideas every single day as well. So come join. You get all this information for you and a commentary on exactly when I get in and get out of trades as well. So I look forward to seeing you here. All right, so with that said, let's go right into it, guys. And as you guys know, when I do these types of videos, there's a few patterns that I love. The first pattern you guys can see is the inverse head and shoulders pattern. This is typically where we find bottoms within the market and where money might flow into. The second pattern is, of course, bull flags or flag patterns, where we look at continuation on a trend. And then finally, we like to take a look at notable companies that had its earnings beat earnings for this quarter. And we like to always keep an eye out on them because those are the companies that we like to position in long term. So if there's opportunities on pullbacks or whatever, these are some great companies to go into. All right, so let's rapid fire this. So the first patterns are the inverse head and shoulders patterns. Now, as you guys know from the previous videos, every stock that we have done absolutely exploded. We are literally 90% win rate, guys, so far this year on all these patterns. So keep watching the videos. But for the first one is BMI, ticker symbol. Bristol Myers Squibb, great company, great dividends. And you can see we are forming a bottom here, guys. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We mentioned to this over and over again around these lows around 46 bucks. Now it is at 48. So you can see everything we call turns to gold here. So we're looking for more continuation and upside move here for BMY in the future. So let's see if it can reach higher. Secondly is Chipotle, the first one on our list here. If you go down to the 1 hour time frame, starting to form a little bit of a head and shoulders here on the smaller time frame. So this would be a smaller sort of swing trade, maybe a few weeks here. But you can see we're starting to form some bottom formations. And as long as this low can hold at 45 bucks, any pullback could be considered a buy here, right, for more upside. So keep a lookout for Chipotle. Next one is Campbell's Soup, guys. And you guys know we mentioned this right at the lows here at 30 bucks, and we saw this starting to form this inverse head and shoulders on the 4 hour time frame. And guess what? Starting to look really good, guys, right? Had this massive explosion upwards, pulling back now. So this is a good sign. If you wanted to try to get in, you can take some fib levels. You can take some other levels, but this is your main support area at 30 bucks. But if it does sort of retest maybe some blocks here, wherever it is on some support, these are some areas to keep a lookout for as well, 31. So keep a lookout for Campbell's Soup, looking pretty good. Next one is Intel. So this is the first one on our first time we're mentioning Intel on a head and shoulders pattern. Again, very similar to Chipotle. You go down to the mini time frames here, so maybe a smaller time frame trade. You can see left shoulder, head, and if it pulls back just a little bit on Intel, it is a pretty decent buy here to move towards the upside. So keep a lookout for Intel on the smaller time frames this week. Another one that we like is Procter & Gamble, guys. Procter & Gamble, looks like money's starting to flow into the defensive names. All right, so you can take a look on the 4 hour time frame, starting to look like an inverse head and shoulders as well. Coiling up, ready to go. Money starting to flow into these defensive names, right? We are starting to maybe turn into a flag here. Who knows, right? But a consolidation into a flag or a pullback, as long as price stays above 151, guys, Procter & Gamble could be a pretty interesting buy going into August, September. Next one is Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments, great name. Again, very similar to Chipotle and Intel. Smaller time frames, looking for an inverse head and shoulders pattern starting to form. Any pullback, any consolidation, guys, keep a lookout, right? This would be considered a nice sort of buy to try to test maybe 195, okay? So keep a lookout for Texas Instruments as well. Another one, Uber, guys. Uber is looking pretty interesting here, okay? A little bit choppier, but from the retracement, you can kind of start to see it a little bit, okay? So if you see some consolidation towards the right-hand side, if you see some, some sideways action, keep a lookout because this can sort of start exploding towards the upside here, okay, for Uber. So keep a lookout for Uber in the future. All right, now that goes with the inverse head and shoulders. Let's go over the flag formation as well. So as you guys know, for flags, we like flags to continuously make a high on an uptrend. So you can see for a firm is starting to form an ascending triangle here, right? You have the trend line supports, okay, starting to become a little bit more strong. So if it keeps consolidating, keep a lookout for a possible position on a firm for more upside, okay? Let's keep going. For Cisco is interesting as well. Now, there are two scenarios. It can bounce right now. Take a look, right? It needs to hold the 618 at $67 here. If it can hold that, right, it can do something like this. Very similar to JP Morgan in the past where we called it. Now, it can also put in a double correction and turn into a flag, something like this, right? And retest the bottom of this flag coiling pattern, maybe closer to these levels over here. Okay, around 65 to 66. So keep a lookout for Cisco. Great name, great dividends. So interesting play here. If it does pull back, you can do a starter position, whatever you want to do. Another one that I'd like is GDX, guys. GDX is the gold miners ETF. So gold has been coiling up here, starting to look a little bit bull flaggy, right? Making equal highs. So as you guys know, algorithms, they love to take out equal highs. So what does this mean? They like to eventually break it, okay? So keep a lookout for GDX and gold miners. And another gold miner is Barracks, right? Very similar structure here. Ascending triangle, equal highs. So keep a lookout for Barracks as well for gold miners. Another one that I like, HPE, Hewlett Packard. Okay, starting to flag out. Interesting name. So a few different scenarios. It can turn into sort of a channel, right? But still bullish because it's still in an uptrend and it can still test this. Or we hold these lows that you guys can see back here at 1979 and continues to bounce off the 618 level here at 20. If it can, right, it's looking at $22 as the main target on a swing trade. All right, so keep a lookout for HPE. Another one is Reddit, guys. You guys know how bullish on Reddit I am. So starting to coil. This can turn into a cup and handle formation, guys. A bullish cup and handle before higher. So keep a lookout as well for Reddit. For UAL, United Airlines, starting to coil a bit. Looking good on an uptrend. So I'm expecting more upside here as well in the future. For Visa. Visa's an interesting one. I love Visa. You guys know it is in my long-term portfolio, and we are starting to coil as well. Okay. So I do like Visa if it retests sort of the bottom of these levels. Okay. Going into earnings, there is earnings here, so just be a little bit careful. You might want to wait till after, or if you want to do a starter position, that's fine with me. I wouldn't be mad, but another name that I like as well. VST Vistra Group, You guys know Vistra has been a great name. We called it when it was flagging here, right, guys, before at these lows, right? We called it right there, and you see that pump did reach that target. Now, it is coming down once again. So if it starts flagging once again, you're looking at Vistra maybe around the 189s. And if it can hold this level, you're looking at 213 to 223. So this one is a little bit trickier because, again, it can turn, because we did reach that target, it can do a double correction closer to 173 before going higher. Okay, so keep a lookout for Vistra. And then finally, the earnings beat, guys. Companies that I love in terms of the earnings. So ASML. So ASML is an interesting one. We mentioned this. We mentioned to you guys that this is turning into an inverse head and shoulders on the daily as well, right? So you can start positioning yourself slowly. And I'm going to just take some fib levels. I mean, we are near the 382. I do like ASML a little bit lower, closer to 665. And if it gives me that, I'll position myself in the future. But this is an interesting level as well, guys, down here. Okay, so keep a lookout for that inverse head and shoulders. Delta Airlines. Delta is had a great beat. Starting to look like a flag as well, or a wedge formation coming down. Okay. It's the last daily higher low down there. So it is at the 382, you guys can see, at $54. So it can bounce now. But I also do like it lower at 51. So Delta Airlines retesting sort of these levels make a lot of sense for me. So starter position 54, a little bit deeper at 51. Stop loss can be on a daily higher low at 48. So this is how I do my positioning. And you'll learn all this in Discord, guys. For DHL, I mean, we absolutely killed this one, guys, right? We were in at 120s, went up to 153 on earnings beat, guys. And you know how bullish I have been on home builders because we mentioned, again, inverse head and shoulders on DHI and the home builders. I mentioned this over and over again. And we got that nice little pump there. So what are we looking at? Well, it can retest back down at 137. And, I mean, if it comes back down to 125 to consolidate even more for a 2026 sort of move, you can position yourself slowly into here, okay? Something like this. And again, DHI can also make a flag formation coming through. So keep a lookout for DHI. Great name. Another one that I like is Google. Google, you guys know, we've been bullish on Google since the lows. But if it shows a little bit of consolidation here, comes down a little bit closer to 189, I'd be happy. But no trades to take yet, right? Just keeping my eye out on Google if it does dip. IBM had a huge dip as well. Interesting, good name here. Retesting the daily 200 moving averages. I see 5 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is still in a bullish uptrend. This is the latest higher low, guys, on the daily. It needs to hold 215. All pullbacks is just another daily higher low. So if IBM can come closer, a little bit lower to 243, I would love that. Making sure the daily higher low stays intact. So IBM's a good name, had a good earnings beat. Intuitive Surgical, good name as well, right? Good name as well. So it's been lagging versus the market here. Okay, it's been lagging versus the market, but coming down, very similar to ASML. Coming down to 618 levels would be very interesting to do a starter position. You could have a stop loss under 426, or if you want to add this to your long-term portfolio, I wouldn't be mad as well. But just know if that does break, if that low breaks, you're looking at 391 to 337 as the next buy. Okay, so you can put layers of tranches down here, buy here, 3 positions. Could be interesting as well. Okay. Micron. Micron had a great earnings beat. Okay, last quarter in Q1, right? It is, or actually, let me see here. Yeah, in Q2, sorry. So it is pulling back. Daily moving averages are supporting price here if I take the last higher low on a daily. So as long as this daily higher low at, $90, again, we've been mentioning about Micron for a while. Coming across the support here on the left, right, on the 618 confluence. So if there's a little bit of a dip here, it could make sense to position yourself as a starter position down here at 104 to 99. Interesting levels, okay? Netflix is an interesting one as well. Again, the last daily higher low level was right here, guys, at $1,103. So as long as that level holds, any pullback is a daily higher low potential. So it is in very nice, interesting levels here between 1155 and $1,187. So if Netflix can hold these levels, you're looking at 1,400 potentially. So let's see if Netflix can hold it on the moving averages here, right? Stop loss underneath the latest daily high low. Because if you lose the daily higher low, then you're going to have a weekly higher low down here at 1,048 to 958. That's the next level, okay? ServiceNow, amazing company, great beat, and you can't do better than ServiceNow in terms of what it's been doing, right? So pulling back after earnings, very great company. So could be interesting at $911 to $810. So these are two levels I'm looking at, a little bit rich in my opinion. I would want it closer to 911 or down here at high 700s. Not sure if I want to position yet, but amazing company. PepsiCo is consolidating a little bit. If it shows me a little bit more, I might need maybe a week or two to give me some signs of consolidation. Could be an interesting play. This is the latest higher low at $133. So if PepsiCo can hold, 141, this is an interesting level, as well as 137 down to 136. These are levels that I'm looking at, and then you're looking at a potential inverse head and shoulders as well here on PepsiCo. T-Mobile. T-Mobile is a great name, right? Leader in telecommunications. I'm just keeping an eye out on here. I don't see too clean of a price action on the weekly. It's looking pretty good on the weekly, to be honest. Went back down to the weekly moving averages on T-Mobile. Good earnings beat as well. Okay, so, we made his first higher low as well, okay, on top of this channel. So, if it does come down a little bit and retests the lower end of this channel, makes sense on T-Mobile, and you have the inverse head and shoulders forming as well, okay? And then finally, TSM, guys, amazing name. Unfortunately, it just does not want to go down, okay? All the dips have been super shallow, but again, it is coming to some take profit levels at 248 to 283, guys. This is the level where it's a little bit of a danger zone. Okay, algos like to take profits here and trim. So if you're going to go into TSM, this is a little bit rich, yeah? Okay, it can still extend all the way up here to 283, but, it's a little bit in the last quarter of its run, in my opinion, before markets are going to be a little bit hesitant to keep letting this ride, okay, without at least a pullback towards the moving averages here, okay? So, I'd rather wait a little bit for the moving averages to catch up. We are quite extended. I mean, how far are we away? About 15% away from the moving averages. All right, so a little bit extended. Let's take a look from the last 20% extensions before, 15% extensions, 18%. So we are quite extended here. Okay, we're in the last sort of quarter, so just be careful there on TSM. All right, guys, again, come join Discord. You get all my entries, target, stop losses every single day. You get the swing trade ideas again, day trade ideas, long-term, the signals of actually what trades I go into, the long-term portfolios, the 100x bagger accounts as well. We're absolutely killing it here in terms of our returns. Okay, you get the quantum whale signals, right? This is our robot that tells you exactly when things are overextended and when to buy. every single daily chart possible on all your favorite names, right? For HIMS, Meta, etc., weekly charts on across the different industries, so you know what money is rotating into, and of course all the chats and exactly the trade forms of when I get in and get out of trade. So I look forward to seeing you here again. Come join. You're going to make a lot of money with us, and the link is in the description. Talk to you guys soon.